And we're back in the 2018 season here in week 2, LCK Spring 2018. That's right, that's Korean League of Legends. Here are two of the powerhouses. As you've seen in my previous cast, I've already casted KT. I'm kind of a KT fanatic. They really, they're a super team, and there's a lot to love with this team, but with being 1-1 right now, they lost against Afrika, the Afrika Freaks, which I was casting in my week 1 cast, and then next they beat MVP. So here they are against SKT week 2, and SKT, how they've been doing was they won against Rocks Tigers, and then they lost a 94-minute record-breaking game against the Jin Air Green Wings. Yes, they ended up losing a 94-minute game that they were in 3 inhibitors up. So longest game in history. SKT had 6 Barons. KT had 3. KT, I believe, also had a total of 10 Dragons. So that would have been a number of Elemental and a number of Elder Dragons that would have come. And just looking outside my window, it's just starting to snow, so it must be January here in Canada. And to match the snow, we're seeing Sejuani being first picked by KT here on the Rift, bringing the chill, the might, the frozen stacks into the ultimate. That's also a freeze move, but don't worry, Sejuani's got lots of woolen furs on her to keep her warm. But to keep with the cold theme, SKT picking up Braum here as a support. So literally the most Nordic frozen creatures champions in League of Legends have now been picked off of my initial snow remark. They just happen to be some of the most picked champions in the game, but still apt. Gnar being picked has a very high win rate. I believe it's in the 70% range. He's something like 18 wins, 5 losses, something around there so far here in LCK. So he's proving to be a very formidable counter pick in the top lane. But SKT realizing the strength of Gnar and picking him right off the bat. KT responding with Jace. So that's an unusual pick into Gnar, and so obviously you know the matchup, you're picking into it. So this is Smeb choosing a carry top laner to go against another carry top laner. So really these are the types of champions that Smeb feels comfortable with, and when you have your superstar top laner picking into a matchup, getting a counter pick, then that's what you want to give him. And if he's feeling comfortable on Jace, then let's roll it with Jace. I have to admit the loss against Afrika was definitely a disappointing one, but it was just a first week trial. Like perhaps these seasoned veterans haven't prepared enough. They kind of want to ramp up until towards playoffs and towards the summer split, when it's the build up for world championships. That's what this team's for. So not really a whole lot of importance placed on some of the most elite teams around the world on the first 2 to 3 weeks. It's something that I've witnessed TSM Reginald speaking quite a bit about how he's purposely giving his players a week or 2 extra rest compared with other members in the NALCS. So yes, we are talking LCK here, but this is another team that has continually made NA finals, and who's realized that that's just not enough, and their fans expect more. And so it's a new strategy. You kind of take it easy at the beginning of the year, and you kind of ramp up. And it's something that SKT has been a specialty for over the years. They've had numerous slow starts, but they always seem to bring it back. This year does seem to be a little bit questionable. Papa Smithy went out and says that they're not going to finish in the top 3. So it's a little bit unusual coming out of the LCK casters, and Papa Smithy was with the old school Doa and Monty team, and they were very much for SKT because they realized how strong they were. But there's something different about this year, and the analysts and the commentators and the casters, they're all seeing it. And so we're going to have to see how SKT faces up against another juggernaut in the league, and whether you have SKT finishing 5th or whether you have them finishing 1st, they're still a team to contend with. So we're going to have to see how this series works out, and there might be playoff implications with this. Yes, we're only in week 2, but these are two teams that it could go onto their win-loss record between each other and how these teams place off. So let's go ahead and read out the matchups. We have Jace into Gnar, so Jace did pick into that. Sejuani was first picked, and Nidalee was picked up significantly after that. We have Galio against Corki, which they should be able to get a little farm lead for Corki, but Galio is supposed to do a little bit more in team fights. Then on the bottom lane, we have Caitlyn against Tristana. Caitlyn getting the favor of that matchup, especially early before Tristana has a chance to ramp up her attack range. And then as the supports, I know I saw Braum for SKT, and I didn't quite catch the KT support. So if it's Caitlyn and Braum was taken, it might be Tom Kench, might be Tarek. I would guess Tom Kench. Let's see. Well, looks like we're going to go over it. Well, I guess it would have helped, but don't know who the KT support is just of yet. But here are the matchups between the players, already saying who's up and who's down. Nidalee is supposed to be getting a farm lead onto Sejuani, with Sejuani, just like Galio, is supposed to do more in the team fights. There's the AD carry matchup. Caitlyn's got the lane advantage there. Tristana's got the mid-game advantage. And, okay, I was wrong. It was not Tom Kench. It is Janna for Mata. So, not very much of a Mata-type champion, but really, he's looking to go with anything that works. He's just looking to get back on the winning keel, and he's just going to try anything. He doesn't have to be on huge playmakers. He just needs to be what the team needs. And as I keep mentioning, there's enough superstars, there's enough carries that really one or two of these players on KT really should be taking the role function and the team leader shot calling function. And that person primarily is going to be Mata, but it could also be Score. And that is not the way you want this series to start off there, Mr. Smeb. We didn't quite see how we got caught out there. Braum is one of the strongest level 1 champions in the game, so any team with a Braum generally wants to do an early invade. So just for all you solo queue players, if you got a Braum on your team, generally invading is a good thing, and just have him in the front line. Over here we're seeing Faker gets out, only uses his W. It sucks he's got to use his W, but yeah, he did start that, and just it was actually a little bit of a bait. So Faker baiting back to the middle of his tower, and then KT chasing two others into the bush and having SKT have the other 4 members in there. Anyways, that was a set play, and nicely completed there. And that's Blank getting his early level 2. Going to start his jungling path. Sejuani's working his way around the jungle. Nidalee picking up the early kill, and she was able to buy, so picking up the second half of her jungle item. She's going to be looking to get that upgraded as quickly as possible. Most likely going for Runic Echoes. So it's pretty much how you have to play this initial part of the lane. Corki's going to be pushing up on you, and really until there's jungle pressure, Faker should be able to keep the pressure up into Pawn, and Pawn just looking to keep close in CS. So this is the match history, and what this match history is saying is there is a domination for SKT. One key note was actually in 2017, KT did not win at all against SKT. So they did not win a single series. So SKT has the mental advantage as well as the historical advantage here in this matchup in the Telecom War. Very, very famous matchup, especially in the StarCraft Brood War days. But now we're in League of Legends, and here are two teams vying for South Korean domination. Another new South Korean team is the Overwatch team. So Seoul has a team in the geocentric league that is Overwatch here in 2018, which some of my heroes, Monty and Doa, are off casting over there in that league. And I hear they had over 400,000 live viewers for their first match. So I believe those numbers were impressive. I don't know if they've kept them up or how that's gone, since I don't follow Overwatch. But esports definitely not only growing in North America, but in the birthplace of esports, basically, that is South Korea. One of the League of Legends teams was recently signed a major sponsorship deal with the second largest insurance provider in South Korea. So a large multi-billion-dollar company who also sponsor one of the major baseball teams for the last 25, 30 years. So another non-endemic corporation coming into esports that has lots of history sponsoring a very important team in Korea. So very, very positive news that we're not only seeing large-scale venture capital investment and sponsorship deals signed in the West, but they're happening in the East as well. And with China completing franchising here in the 2018 season, as well as North America, it's a lot of corporate money, and this game is going to be changing quite a bit, I would imagine, in 2018 and most certainly in 2019 when Europe and Korea get on the franchising with the rest of the leagues. Not sure what's happening with the Oceanic or the LMS region. Frankly, I don't know. And the Japanese region, the Turkey region, I don't know. But Brazilian as well. A lot of regions. I'm not sure if all of them can franchise though. But definitely the big four will be all set. Here we have a gank looking to trade back the kills, and Smeb getting one on Tara there on Nar, and not going to make a big difference right now, but when Jace is able to go back and purchase with this gold that was just traded now back over is when you're going to see Jace going to try to attempt to bully this top lane. So let's see what he picks up. He's already got a Vamp Scepter, and he goes for the Bilgewater. No boots needed yet, and getting a control ward with a pot. So this is a build that's designed to win duels. Little 3-on-2 action with Caitlyn doing just fine. Has the 2. A little bit of the dangerous going toe-to-toe at range with Caitlyn, but here's why you're showing that she's still got a lot of the power. You just can't get hit with her anymore. She does not have the health to back it up. Early tower damage already by KT. As you can see, SKT's tower down to about 50% and only at 6 minutes 30 seconds. So we're going to continue to push this wave. Deft and Mata getting the early pressure. Generally, if you can get a tower before 10 minutes here in the bot lane, you're doing all right as Caitlyn. That's what the goal is. They're going to go back and get their first buy. Huge farm lead there at 64 to 40. Caitlyn here being piloted by Deft. Picking up that BF sword and a couple of daggers. So both attack speed and damage. It's going to have a significant attack speed advantage over the Tristana to go along with the range advantage that Caitlyn already possesses. Tristana over time builds up range so that she's not such a close AD carry. And normally by about level 16 you can hit the Baron and the Dragon from behind the pit. So kind of a neat way to safely help your team take these major neutral objectives. Gold dead even. First Blood did go over towards Blank on his Nidalee, which is, it's a jungler you don't want to get behind on. So able to pick up the Cinder Hulk, it looks like. Looks like the Cinder Hulk. The animation looks like Runic Echoes, though, so kind of hard to see, but jungle item complete with 2 control wards. Of course, with 3 stopwatches here on SKT, and just 1 stopwatch on KT, and that's for the 80 carry. So KT are, what I've seen in a few of their games that I've casted here, is they tend to be bucking the trends. They're not going for many unseen spellbooks. They're not going for a lot of stopwatches. And so they're really trying to craft their own style. They're not necessarily following what everyone else in the rest of the leagues are doing. And these are the type of players to do it. These guys make metas. They don't just follow metas. And it's just the second week of the year. So if you can find something that works for you, and if it bucks the trend of the rest of the leagues, then go out and do it. This is the time for it, and make something work for you. Jungle well in advantage for blank here in Italy, which is what you're supposed to be against a team fighting jungler such as Sejuani. But getting that first blood also helped move along the items, and this 1 item complete of for Nidalee is would definitely help her win any sort of duel against score on Sejuani. Package was about to be used, it looked like. Faker even in CS with Pawn, and gotta hand it to Pawn. That is the goal that you want to hit with Galio. Big time damage here on this turret, and this would be first turret gold. It won't be going over just yet, but they will be getting a fair bit of damage on it. Early Ocean Dragon over for SKT. Great dragon to have for laning phase. Should be getting the gold lead. Yep, now at 700 gold ahead. KT with that first tower. Both lane bushes warded. Something I haven't mentioned is the scaling potential of both the comps. Both of them don't actually scale that well, and they're fairly even. So neither of these teams are built for a 40-plus minute game, which is what we've been seeing a lot, particularly in the Korean division. Earlier on, we had SKT in a world record for professional play, that is, world record 94-minute game against the Jin Air Green Winds, where SKT had gotten 6 Barons that game, were up 3 inhibitors at one time. I believe took out something like 16 inhibitors throughout the entire game, and still lost. Jin Air being able to get some massive teamfight wins towards the end, and SKT losing a lot of their chances, in which in years prior they were able to close out games. It's just something they weren't able to do. And here against KT, you're having superior individually talented and mechanically skilled players here in KT that you might not get these chances that you're going to get against the Jin Air, which, you know, although they have a comprehensive team strategy, I don't want to watch any of their games. Like, watching 50, 60-minute, you know, farm fest, not really entertaining for me, but they win. They beat SKT. Their goal is to make playoffs. It's kind of like an MMA fighter who is just playing for points. He's just looking to get takedowns, looking to not take too much damage, and really, you know, George St. Pierre, one of the most successful MMA fighters of all time, and the dude's barely been hit in his last 10 fights. The ultimate coming in from Galio, getting in there. A couple of kills over to KT. Now Chase with 2 kills. Jana with 1. And Smeb's going to switch over to pushing on this bot lane. TP completed. And a nice lane swap. When Deft is finished pushing this mid wave, he almost certainly is going to move top before this tower is taken. Gonna put pressure on the mid first. There we have Janna going up top to ward, but no, it's actually Galio. So 9 times out of 10, when the top laner goes to bot lane and starts pushing a tower, you have the AD carry and the support then switch to top lane, and it's a switch between top and bot. But KT doing things a little bit differently, putting, as I said, Jace on the bottom lane, but having Galio, their mid laner, go top, and then their bot lane, Janna and Caitlyn, go mid. And so just a little bit of augmentation there onto the lane swap, and Caitlyn was able to get most of that mid tower down. So one more concerted effort to this mid, and they should be able to swing this one over. In correction, that first dragon for SKT was a wind dragon, not an ocean dragon. Just had a quick look, and thought Nidalee had soloed the ocean, but it was in fact gray, and it is a wind dragon. Team actually does pretty well with the wind dragon. They have a poke comp, so SKT looking to stay at a distance and keep poking. Nice block there by Faker. Does have the package, but this team's taken enough damage that he's not wanting to go in just yet. Tristana coming in to look to turn the favor, but thinking better of that. Braum stepping on a trap, but it's not such a big deal because he can just put the shield up, jump towards Tristana, get all sorts of defensive bonuses there, and not much damage going over. Early advantage, I got to give to KT. They're doing more effective map movements around. They have mid and bot tower both damaged, so they're looking at getting they're going to get this tier 1, and the second level tier 2 in bot lane is nearly destroyed as well. So already working on snowballing their gold lead, and I don't think the Wind Dragon is too big. I am saying it is more effective. This is a more effective Wind Dragon on this SKT team than normal. And I normally will say it's the worst dragon, but for their specific comp, it might not be. It might not be the worst. So if they can possibly get another Wind Dragon, or even just using the single one that they have, here's the double leash here, looking at for all you junglers. If you have a tanky jungler, you kind of set them up both to come into this middle here, and you save a little bit of time. You hit one, you move over to the other, and then you destroy them both with your CC, your multi-target, abilities there in the middle, and you save a little bit of time. Now SKT responding by putting Tristana in the mid lane. Def just that little bit stronger. He's got a level advantage. Looked like she had a Janna shield, and you're gonna beat the Tristana at this point with those advantages. Nope, that was not a Janna shield. This is before the relic changes, so where you no longer get that green shield from the relic gold item generating item. There's going to be much less gold generating items on non-supports. So Vladimir and some of these AP junglers going Frostfang, that's going to be going away, as well as the AD carries going Relic, that's going to be disappearing. So just another week or two left of these types of play, and soon we're going to be hopefully speeding up these games and having some leads on bot lane, whereas now it's just a farm fest. And whoa, we have Caitlyn up 40 farm, and not even, is that a tower? Yeah, she's up a tower as well. So there on the top right, suggested week 2 of the second game here. So most certainly will be going to that game after this first one. This is a best of 3, so one thing we do know of is there is a game 2. No matter who wins. Italy heading bot, 2 zombie wards and a control ward for good measure. And yes, League of Legends ads by Google. I'm sure those riot points are an awesome deal. Who doesn't like riot points? Unless you have every champion and every skit in the game, we all like riot points. One thing telling my friends and family around the holidays was if you're buying League of Legends gift cards, the $100 one is the good one. $50 one's pretty good, but the real good one is the $100 one. That's the real special one. So I didn't get any, but I did let those close to me know that there's a lot of value in that $100 card for me. That is. I don't know about for anybody else. Gold lead here at 3,000 gold for KT. They were able to, this time I'm positive, it is an Ocean Dragon. Being able to get that dragon back, and at this juncture, not the most important dragon. Against a poke comp, it could be good if you get poked off, if you have poked out of your siege, then you're able to kind of go back, farm some jungle, farm another lane, and then come back at full health. So the advantage is there. This should not kill the tanky Braum, but it was a good try. Caitlyn taking all kinds of damage. As stated before, not as much health as she used to have. She can give it, but she can't take it. Kind of like people with very soft chins. You know, they can give a good punch, but they can't take it. It's also a metaphor, not just literally. Bottom tower going over for KT, and this is the tower that Jace had helped prepare about 7 minutes earlier. So getting that TP and double kill, well, not double kill, but 2 kills over for KT there over on that blue side about 6-7 minutes ago. Getting the tower down to around health, and then the team coordinating around it and heading back bot lane to finish it off. Now switching back over to the mid lane, so complete control and domination of this game by KT, and there hasn't even been very many team fights. This is just effective warding and effective map movements by this all-pro team in KT. Here we're going to see the kill going over. Braum taking all kinds of damage. Effective ult landed by Sejuani. Then Galio getting in there, and you're talking about layers upon layers upon layers of CC onto Braum, who was already half health and more than enough. Now Braum with 2 deaths. Not too many, but when you've only given up 4 deaths in total, you're composing 50% of your team deaths. So big shocker, there's 5 people on this team and you have 50% of the deaths. Not really as big of a deal as I'm making it seem, but I'm doing it for dramatic effect. But here we have Score with the blue buff. He's getting the procs on there to do extra damage, and we slide away, and he leaves the blue buff to go get the Gromp, getting both of them at one time, maximizing his jungle clear time. Sejuani, not one of those high farm junglers, as is Nidalee, and being only 10 farm behind, with 3 assists up, is the happy place to be for Sejuani. No deaths, a kill, multiple assists. You've already traded objectives, way up in towers. This is the jungler's life. So, although I said that SKT has a poke team, we have not seen them set up for any sort of siege or contesting any sort of objectives. They're mostly giving up their towers. They fought a little bit for their tier 1 mid tower, but once that went down, the second tier went down quickly after that. They're trying to slow this game down, but they're finding it more and more difficult. Now 6,000 gold down, and This is the team that we would have thought last year that that they're going to come back some way, somehow. They're going to come back, but now with this new team, we can't be so certain. On any other team other than SKT, it's looking like that they would be maybe only a 20% favorite to win this game at this juncture. But these are the kings of comebacks. At least they were. At least they were. This is the last Tier 2 tower going down. KT have not lost a single tower. They've only lost a dragon. No Baron pressure whatsoever put on by either team. This is a decided advantage that KT cannot waste. What the casters in the LCS like speaking about, at least they used to frequently, is gold left on the table, or gold left on the map, is how they like to describe it, where you already have a 6-tower advantage as KT, so you're up all this gold, but SKT can come back quite easily if they're able to knock down the same amount of towers as you have already. So if there's a stall in the game right now and KT has trouble breaking into SKT's base, and SKT is able to win a couple of team fights and get some towers down, that they're going to be able to inch closer to this gold lead. Also, as this game gets extended, the gold lead, now currently at 7,000, is going to mean less and less. But every time I've called out the gold lead, it's been 5,000, 6,000. Now it's 7,000. And these are only after about a minute or two of casting each one of these calls. So KT is not staying static. They're building their gold lead, about 1,000 every 2 minutes or so, and picking up a second dragon here, a mountain, which even though it doesn't look like they need a Baron, and frankly I wouldn't recommend them doing a Baron, why risk it? You either bait a Baron and set up a team fight, or just keep doing exactly what you're doing. Keep putting pressure on lanes, clear out their jungle, make sure their jungle's got wards, and set up plays and picks for Baron. You don't need to start it. Unless you take 2 of them down, there's no need to risk it. You're winning in every facet of this game. And yeah, you just can't sleep on this SKT team. Former kings of comeback. We're going to see if it's retained here in 2018. Week 2, so we're still seeing how these teams are faring. Over in North America, a lot of worries for CLG and TSM, both starting 0-2. So these are the 2 most famous North American brands, and starting off with the worst possible record. TSM fans definitely freaking out, but they freak out even over a single loss, so 2 losses is, wow, that's devastating. Chicken Little is thinking that the sky's going to fall down here. Now, KT doesn't want to take a misstep and try an early Baron, but they can't be too defensive in this spot. They have a lead. They need to use that lead by engaging in team fights. And here is a Janna Tornado being knocked up. Caitlyn following up with the damage. Sejuani looking for the follow-up CC, but not quite hitting it. Going to retreat back into the red side jungle. And you just are on the edge of your seat here about whether KT can get the team fight that they're looking for. They're looking for it. SKT knows they're looking for it and are trying desperately to avoid defending an undefensible tower or trying to make an aggressive pick. But here the aggressive pick is going towards score as Sejuani going in on 2 of them. Now 3 at KT heading up into the base. Caitlyn as Deft going and hitting the tower down to half health. We have a couple of red bars, one especially on Faker. Top tower is at 15%. And KT retreating back. Nice careful play. Good job by Mata. Going to retreat and use the ultimate to get these health bars right up to maximum, and they're up at max, but SKT is not. This is the fight they can win. This is the 5-on-4. KT, can they lock anyone down? The answer is no. Well, League of Legends games aren't always as easy as moving around the map. Sometimes you've got to take a team fight, and just like if you want to make an omelet, you're going to have to break a few eggs, and in that you're going to have to take a few risks, take a few team fights, and try to use your advantage. Here, Score is trying to do just that. Palm also trying to jump in and knock the CC, but just getting out of the way is SKT. They are successfully held on to their base turrets, and KT heading back to base to buy, and looks like their one ping went to Baron, and another couple of pings are going to mid lane. So the more pings were the mid lane, so I imagine they'll be heading mid. Ultimate used onto Blank, and I don't see why he would do that. So it's a little bit of a risk there to try to knock the support out, and it almost fell right back into KT's face. Ultimate by Sejuani is one of the main initiators you have for this team, and really it's your I'm going to correct that. It's your only initiator for this team. Damage onto Mata, a little bit heavy. Quickly following up, SKT, they're going to look at poking this Baron. They see that it's at 4,000 health. KT falling back, going to get the Scuttle Crab. And KT didn't want to smite fight that, so give it in a shot in case SKT was sleeping. Started the Baron, got it down to 4,000, realizing that SKT had the ability to jump in and backed off. Going to go ahead and buy. They would have had a good buy here. Gold lead now at 7,000, so now it is kind of stabilized. As I was saying, it was creeping higher for KT. Now stabilizing a bit as we get the Baron fight happening. The second Cloud Drake of the game coming up. SKT does have that first one. The other two going over to KT. Most likely not going to be a major fight over this dragon, but either team would love a trade. This dragon for a tower or this dragon for a Baron. KT looks like they want to put pressure on the top lane, which would be advisable because they were able to get that top tower down to less than 50%. So continuing to put pressure on the top would be the most certain way of getting the first inhibitor down. And you can have Galio pushing the mid or the bottom. He has a number of different ways to get into the fight through ultimate or teleport. So making sure this entire jungle fully warded, all wards cleared out, pushing that top wave in, having Galio pushing another lane, most likely the bot lane, but could also push the bottom of the mid lane in, also giving him the ability to ultimate into the fight, whereas the bot lane would be a little bit too far for that. Big gold lead for Jace over Gnar, and engagement here from Sejuani, counter by Braum, and good disengage, which he's been doing a very good job on all this game, helping provide his team with a little bit of extra time to survive. Mata using his Seekers a little bit early there. Used it right as he was going past a control ward. So there they see Deft shooting the Baron from behind. And a little bit of a misplay there, missing the net over the Baron pit. Knocking out the jungler, and this unfortunately means an easy Baron, because there's no way for SKT to contest. They don't have the Gnar bar, and they're only going to try a very casual lazy steal, which was the Corki Q, and not quite picking that up. What does get picked up is Smed picking up a kill onto Effort on Braum. Braum just trying to slow the retreat, making sure that none of his team members go down. Just keeping that last minion there. Good little bit of wave management by Smeb. Getting the second inhibitor. There's no wave pushing out on the bottom just yet, so expect KT to either go for this dragon or swing up top lane to get that, which should still be a weakened top tower. So we're going to see what they choose, but obviously by these map movements, they're choosing the easy Wind Dragon. Could also be baiting a fight. There's the smite going down at 729. I believe Score's smite timer or smite damage was at 800 there, here at level 14. We have a half item away from max items from Smeb, and Untara here on Gnar is, wow, he is 2 whole items away from max items, so he's a whole item and a half down. This is now that Smeb's at level 18 at his peak strength. Tower and top lane not regenerating as much health as I initially thought, only at about 35-40%. With Baron and everyone at full health, there's really not much SKT can do. Wave clear is okay with Gnar, Corki, and Tristana being able to clear from a distance. But these are 3 waves of Baroned up minions that are going to hit the base at the same time. And just a good bit of control when you're trying to finish the game. If you can get the waves, at least 2 of them, to crash into the Nexus towers with the Baron, that's generally going to be enough to finish the game for you. Minion damage being just enough to take out Faker, but that doesn't show up on the score sheet. All that shows up is you gotta kill. Solid first game by KT. Gonna give the MVP to Smeb. So although dying early to the bait play of SKT right at the beginning of the game, which is giving Nidalee the advantage in the jungle, but Smeb being able to come back, getting a gank from his jungler, and picking up the next kill, and then being able to take control of that lane against Gnar. And both are lane bullies. Both are looking to win their lane, and Smeb did that just so, and got a massive lead. Did an effective TP onto the bottom blue side, and continued to push that turret. So I know I talked a lot about that play, but it was a big play, and it helped set them up for the win. So MVP is Smeb, and let's go to game 2. Alright, so we're also trying something new here today. We're going to be trying 3 games in a row. That's right, we're going to be casting